From model employee to Nemesis, my workplace vendetta, the weight of what I did still sits heavy in my gut, a cold stone of doubt and justification. Was I right? Was I wrong? It all started so innocently, with a new job and a burning desire to prove myself, independent of my family's success. But little did I know, I was walking into a viper's nest, and my encounter with one particularly nasty snake would unravel a chain of events I never could have predicted. I know I'm something of a Nepo baby, as the internet loves to call it. My mom is incredibly successful in a very niche but very lucrative field of business. This allowed my dad to be a stay-at-home dad, and for me and my siblings to get a good education. When I graduated from college, I decided to go into the same field as my mom. While I love her, and our relationship is good, I very much did not want to only be viewed as her kid or receive special treatment due to how well regarded she is. So I used my dad's surname and generally kept who my mom is to myself. I also avoided coming to work for her. In my field and country, it's generally accepted that people are hired for a trial period, at the end of which either the employer or employee can cut ties with no fines or compensation required. So anyway, I went to work at one company. Again, I'll remind you, it's a very niche field, with very few employment opportunities. I went in for my trial period and everyone seemed pretty happy with me. I put out some fires, and one superior described me as a workhorse because I'm first to the office. It goes pretty well. Except for one colleague in my team. This dude was a monumental jerk, plain and simple. I'm a bit of a people pleaser and try to be on good terms with everyone, but this guy would have none of it. He was incredibly rude, constantly being confrontational. It wasn't just me, either. If a colleague anyone was getting any sort of acknowledgement, if someone was saying they had a rough time with something, this jerk would pop up, going, "Oh yeah, I did that a while back." It was super easy. Whenever someone tried talking about future plans with me, he'd go, "Oh yeah? We'll see about that." He also apparently said some very unkind things about my appearance and masculinity, but those, at least, he had the decency to say behind my back, I suppose. And I only learned about them later. Like, this dude was incredibly mean for apparently no reason except trying to make himself look better by making everyone else look worse. And one thing, which wasn't true to me specifically because I'm male, was that his meanness seemed to apply especially to women. A few comments were about how working in this field isn't for moms, and they should be raising kids or whatever, and some other very bad stuff. But management seemed pretty content keeping him around because, apparently, he was a pretty good worker, and they liked that he was ambitious. My trial period ended, and I was offered a permanent position, but I decided this was not the place for me. I was already a workhorse and had very little interest in sticking around in this jerk's vicinity. I respectfully informed them I would not be sticking around and went to find work elsewhere. On my last day, I came to say goodbye. Management said they were sorry to see me go, and colleagues wished me well and said they're going to miss me. This jerk goes, "Told you Op wasn't going to stick around. Good riddance. Maybe this field isn't for you either," very loudly. I left. I'm not very confrontational, and I didn't have to deal with him anymore anyway, so I just went. Some time went by, and I'm now employed elsewhere. I'm happy and doing well. I love my work and my colleagues. I've been promoted, and I don't really think about the jerk anymore. Except, apparently, there was a relative influx of applicants from the jerk's old company. Relative because, again, very niche market. Whatever. My boss knows I did a trial period over there, so whenever an applicant comes up, he asks me about my experience with the company. There are very few people I dislike, so I usually give my honest opinion, which is usually very positive. My boss asked for my opinion, and I said, "Look, I have personal feelings about this person." Boss, knowing just how positive I usually am about basically everyone, asked me what was up, and eventually, I told him everything. The jerk obviously didn't get hired. I assumed that was the end of that. Then, a few days later, we had a family dinner, and my mom goes, "Wait, you had a trial period at that company. Do you know the jerk?" Well, my mom knew there was a person I really didn't get along with at that company and the things he did. Obviously, she wasn't going to hire him, especially given his views on women. One of the jerk's former colleagues worked for my mom, and they were on great terms, and this is how I discovered what happened there. The jerk got promoted, and that made a bunch of people want to leave. This caused management to look into why strong applicants were leaving after their trial period was over. Turned out it was the jerk. Someone had a talk with him, and from what I gather, he was not receptive to criticism. He was let go. This is when he applied to the company I work for and to my mom's. From what I understand, he no longer works in our field. There are, as I mentioned, not many employers around. But, unfortunately, I have no idea what he does. I will update if I find out. Update. So, it's been a minute since my original post. Things kind of blew up, and that caused me to want to give a small update and clear some stuff up. So first, let me stress that my field is very niche, with few employment opportunities. It is also, as some of you suggested, okay, seriously now, the field is medicine in a small county. This means that there aren't many spots on the residency program, but also a pretty constant influx of students, and the field is pretty lucrative. Shitty hours, yes. Some asked about an exit interview at the end of the trial period. I had one of those, said I didn't really vibe with the culture and certain aspects of the way they did things, didn't name the jerk. As a young, relatively speaking, specialist in my field in a not very large department, I get to weigh in on potential colleagues, so if I say someone sucks, that bears some weight. And if a department starts having issues attracting the best candidates because its chief resident is a jerk, that's going to be an issue. So, with that out of the way, let's get to the update. A lot of you were very curious as to what had actually happened to him, so I reached out to some friends. He's still a doctor, obviously, but he just went into another specialty, which, given how long he worked to become chief resident, is telling. He's probably okay. The real reason for the update is that it turns out I know his wife. I like his wife. She was a year ahead of me in med school. I got curious, so I texted her. Turns out she's not actually his wife anymore. I had coffee with her, still a lovely woman. She's not on Reddit, but apparently this thing got on out at some point and reached her. Well, I told her about this, and she couldn't believe it was me. Except she could, because she suspected it was me because I apparently sound like a twat when I express myself in writing, which she remembers from my days at the student council equivalent in my many emails. Still, I had a good time. We're getting coffee again on Sunday. Anyway, I didn't have anything to do with his firing, but after he was let go, presumably quite amicably, he decided to move abroad after failing to get into another department here. This didn't come to fruition, but it did cause a rift in their marriage, which then led to divorce. So, maybe I kind of torpedoed his marriage, too. And yeah, that's about it for the update. I will let you know if I get beaten up in a parking lot, as some of you suggested I might. Second story. My boyfriend and I met at work 2 years ago, or technically I was working part-time during undergrad and he was a customer, but after a couple of months, we started going out. I really love this man, and nothing has happened on this scale before, so I'm very confused about it. My BF has a very tight group of friends. I'm well acquainted with them and their girlfriends. One of them, Dave, is married to Ellie. Ellie is an excellent cook and often hosts dinners, and everyone brings a dessert to those dinners. I am the youngest in the group, so most times they brush off my request for contributing or bringing in a dessert. However, the last time I asked Dave and Ellie if they wanted anything extra like wine or some sweet dish for dinner, they said I could bring one of those sweet dishes I make for my boyfriend. I'm Indian, and even though I can't cook as well as my mom and I'm well in a different country for studies, I called my mom up and had her teach me properly how to make a specific Bengali sweet which is my favorite. I had my friends taste it, and they said it was great. My boyfriend ate some and said it was excellent. Last night, I greeted Ellie and kept the dish in the kitchen. When the food was brought out and my boyfriend told everyone I made it, I saw that someone had added cinnamon powder to the sweet. You never have that sweet with cinnamon powder. The dessert tasted like cinnamon, and I felt horrible. Though everyone said thank you and it was good, I think my face gave it away. And my boyfriend took me aside and said that Ellie had told him that my sweet looked too white and thought some cinnamon might bring some color to it. I don't know, I just felt awful and I started to tear up. My boyfriend then defended Ellie and said that his friends already think I'm a child and not make a big deal of this and we will talk about it. Couldn't he have told her not to add cinnamon to the sweet? He told me he didn't think it was a big deal and asked me to drop the topic on the way home. I didn't text him good night, and this morning he said he was sorry and said my crying made him feel like an awful person. I don't know now, I think I overreacted. BTW it was Rasgulla. I even had my mom ask our local sweet shop what quantity they used for the sizes of Rasgulla. I had managed the sweet to taste a lot like the sweet shop. So that's why I was so upset. If it tasted bad I wouldn't have cried. My boyfriend doesn't defend you and apparently all his friends think you're a child. Which he also doesn't defend you, he's also got 6 years on you dudes nearing 30. Does your boyfriend often treat you like a child? Does your boyfriend usually defend his friends when they do some FS like this? Does your boyfriend defend you at all? He should feel like an awful person. He is an awful boyfriend. I usually just hang around my boyfriend's friends during these dinners. I admit I feel a little left out because they all have been friends for so long, and I'm from a different culture. But they have never said any outright offensive thing to me. My boyfriend doesn't treat me like a child. He mentioned before that due to my age his friends see me like a much younger sister. So I guess that's why he said it. I don't know. I'm kind of rethinking his words. There is no way am I going to tell this to my mom. She already has reservations about my BF due to the age gap and the fact that he is not Bengal. But thank you. My boyfriend saying everyone thinks you're a child and him saying we'll talk about this later is him telling you he thinks you're a child. Girl, tell him you're tired of hanging out with judgmental old farts and you're going to go find people younger and cooler to be with. Please don't think this guy hung the moon. Update. Ellie saw this post. My boyfriend texted me to see if it was me. I said yes. He said we needed to talk. For safety purposes, my best friend will be here. I don't know. I never expected my post to blow up. He said he needed space from the relationship. I think with the way this post blew up and what happened because of a post, I should clear up some things. I never asked if I should leave my boyfriend for this. I asked if this was an overreaction. But having thousands of people tell me this was racially charged, Ellie wanted power, my BF is etc., my brain went haywire. BF called yesterday and when I got there his house with my best friend Dave and Ellie were there. Ellie was crying and Dave looked really pissed at me. My BF told me to sit down and Dave started with how I could make a post that most of the people in the dinner party would recognize and know, and my BF was silent and wouldn't even look at me, and was only shaking his head. It felt like I was a kid being scolded by my parents with my elder sibling disappointed in my actions. I admit it was very spineless of me, but Dave went on for like a minute and I was just looking at my BF waiting for him to defend me. I asked Ellie why would she alter my dish after telling me to bring an Indian sweet. She said she thought Indian food would be brown. This woman has more Indian friends than me, and she thinks Indian food is brown. She grew up in the UK, and I felt so defeated. My friends and people around me telling me his friends came first to him, not me. He said he didn't think the sweet was a big deal. I told him I would never let my friend alter something he spent 3 days learning, getting people to taste it and got his mom involved in. He saw I put a lot of effort into it, so I let her alter it. Why couldn't he ask me? Ellie started to cry and say that she wasn't being racist and she wouldn't know that I put effort into it and now she couldn't host dinners again. I said I use fake names, so why does it matter, unless she and Dave went around telling people. BF told me he didn't expect this from me. My best friend piped up that he expected that my BF would have an effing spine, so I guess they were both disappointed. BF told me in front of Dave and Ellie that he needs some space. I told him to get lost. I don't know what my best friend said to him after that. Considering I left my BF, I kind of tripped in the metro station. So now I'm crying on my best friend's couch with an ice pack while his BF keeps giving me peach schnapps. I wouldn't have stormed out if he looked at me once. He just looked 100% on Dave and Ellie's side and acted like I was the one with the problem when she caused me hurt. If his friends come first when they caused me hurt, where would I been if I decided to marry this man? My friends are good to me and are acting like I'm some fragile glass. I even heard my best friend and his brother whispering loudly from the kitchen and his elder brother wanted to threaten him via Insta. I hate that this has come to this. Considering I have always been the mom friend to my friend group. I'm drunk while writing this, so have some grace in the comments. Also, if you'll be an insult like those people in my DMs, telling me I'll never keep a man if I'm this dramatic, please go away. I just thought I needed to update. Edit. This is the first time I faced what y'all have been calling racism. I didn't see Ellie putting cinnamon into my rascalla. I was just hurt that my days of hard work were ruined. That's it. I understand I need to work on my self-esteem and not let people walk over me. My best friend's elder brother because he didn't know what happened book an appointment with a therapist he know, as he thinks I need mental help to not normalize aggressive behavior. I'm sorry for ranting on Reddit, but I guess that's where I am. No update post. I'm again grateful for the barrage of supportive messages and chiding I've received from the internet after the cinnamon fiasco in my post. I am updating because I felt like I should just update about recent events and honestly, after just more than 2 weeks, I've started to feel good about myself, even though I feel like S whenever I remember my acts. I really hope I can put this whole thing to rest and I don't have to update again. For my sanity. Firstly, my ex called a few times last week. I had blocked him earlier, literally like 2 days after breaking up, and whenever he called my friends they wouldn't pick up either. I wanted to handle this matter with grace and, unlike what some people commented, no, I did not want my issues all over the internet and did not understand what was happening. I just wanted some advice on how to deal with my emotions and didn't want my friends to be mad at my then BF. Thankfully, the trash took itself out. I still don't know if Ellie was racially motivated or if she just hated me. I don't even care now. I don't want a man who makes his friends scold me and humiliate me. I know I deserve to be at least somebody's first choice. Ex came to my best friend's flat. I don't live there, and from what I heard from my bestie's boyfriend, he said he was very sorry and he now felt like I didn't deserve to be treated like that. He had thought when he broke up with me that I was overreacting and it was just a small thing I made a big deal out of. But then a few of his friends explained to Ellie that it definitely was a horrible thing to do and told my ex he was a S. Who knew he had nice friends too. Ex didn't say anything more after. He was just sorry and he said he doesn't want more hurt between us. I have decided to not contact him. I'm just done. A lecture from my mother on dating idiot men and crying every night for over a week has made me lethargic. I am sending off Data, Bestie's elder brother, insisting that I move in with them for some time because I'm not eating well. My dad said it's okay if I do. My family trusts my bestie and his family a lot. Needless to say, my work and studies are suffering. I haven't heard from Ellie or Dave and I don't intend to. The person who asked me if I left my ex over a desert, I told her what happened and she was appalled. I don't know what she told my ex for him to apologize. Honestly, I'm so done with that group. I went to one therapy session and I didn't feel good. I know I have to keep going for it to actually help me, but I can't help feeling so down. I have never been so emotionally low in my life and I'm officially not dating for the foreseeable future. I am planning a trip with friends after my final semester of my master's and I really hope I don't bring the mood down for my friends who have been so supportive and have always made me feel I have family, even though I'm away from home. I don't know what I would have done without having my best friend and his boyfriend who keep telling me to drink the pain away and daughter keeps on talking about the negative effects of becoming an alcoholic. Overall, I'm closing this chapter and I don't think I'll need to update again. I'm not ever talking again to Dave and Ellie or my ex, so I don't expect any more drama. I just want to settle down to work and graduate properly. Did I, in a roundabout way, ruin this guy's life because of his past behavior? Looking back, I can't shake the feeling that I might have overstepped. Was it justified given how he treated me and others? Was I simply defending myself, or did I let personal animosity cloud my judgment? I'm genuinely torn, and I'm desperate to know your thoughts. Do you think I was right to share my honest opinion with my boss, knowing the potential consequences? Should I have taken the high road and stayed silent? Or was his eventual downfall simply karma catching up to him? I need some perspective, so lay it on me. Was I the bad guy in this situation?